The CharCole podcast is recorded in front of a live studio audience. Any reproduction, rebroadcast, or reuse of any of the materials contained within this podcast is strictly prohibited without the express written consent of the CharCole podcast.
After a 20-month hiatus, the CharCole podcast is back. Welcome back. This is episode 31, a very, very special episode, as today we are previewing the South Dakota Amateur Baseball State Tournament taking place at Cadwell Park starting August 3rd.
Yes, the 2022 season is upon us, Cole. I am more excited than you could even imagine. It is going to be a fantastic 12 days. We look forward to working at this one. We're going to be behind the scenes, everything South Dakota Amateur Baseball. We're going to be a part of this year. We're super excited to work along 605 Sports and Jody Brozick throughout the 12 days of this tournament. We couldn't look forward to more. We've been talking back and forth the past couple weeks, and you know, the excitement is a day away. And we're a day away from the tournament, Cole, and it's going to be a fantastic. I can't even put into words how exciting I feel.
Yeah, I'm right with you. As soon as you called me, when I look at my phone and my phone's blowing up, I'm like, what is going on? We had an opportunity to work alongside 605 Sports at this baseball tournament, and I'm like, absolutely. This is so exciting, and the atmosphere is so great. The games are always good, and you can't really go wrong with about 12 days straight of baseball. So,
absolutely, yeah, you're not wrong there. I it's going to be a super fun one. I can't wait. So let's get into what we came to do today. We're making our picks and previewing the all 31 games. I guess not 31 games, but all 16 first-round games. The 31 total games or 16 first-round games we'll be covering today, starting with game number 1, Cole.
Yeah, game number 1, 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, features the Plankton Gold Sox coming from the Pony Hills League and the Madison Broncos from the Corn Belt League. Madison's 13-9 and Plank 8-14. Yeah,
you know what? I think Plankton, obviously this is their first year, the Gold Sox, coming in definitely an underdog in this one. I think they've had some ups and downs on the season. Being an 8-14 team is not a bad belt. I mean, it's not like they're coming in with confidence. I feel like they have the underdog mentality coming into this one. Madison Broncos, definitely, I think the Broncos think they can take this one. In my opinion, if I were to pick a game or pick a winner on this one, I think Madison runs away with it.
I think so too. Obviously, Plank qualifying for the first time in their second year ever being a team. It's just one of those deals where it's almost better as an achievement than actually going and trying to win the thing. Like, this is the first step toward building a team for future years and come back knowing that you have the chance to qualify for the state tournament after your second year of existence. So
yeah, that is pretty cool. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one for the Gold Sox to get out of there. But let's head on to the second game of the day, the 7:30 game tomorrow night. The Plankton Bankers and the Garretson Blue Jays.
Absolutely. Garretson comes in as the runner-up of the State Line League, and Plankton Bankers 16-2. They were the Pony Hill League champions. Plankton, they're going to be really tough to beat here. Let's see I don't know if Garretson is going to be able to come in with the firepower enough to knock off Plank, but you never know come August.
Exactly. August agony is what it's been coined, but yeah. I mean, anything can happen in August. But it's tough to beat a team like the Bankers, who have lots and lots of experience in the tournament and had made a few runs over the past couple of years. Just off of recent memory, they've had a couple of really, really good years, especially last year when they pulled out those new uniforms. I really liked that. I wouldn't forget the day, but yeah, that was pretty cool. That was a time there. But I think the Bankers run away with this one and best the Blue Jays of Garretson.
I'll have to agree with you there. And with that ends the 2 Wednesday games. Like they said on the selection show, you might as well just close down the town of Plankton and send everybody over to Cadwell, because both Plank teams playing on the same day is going to be pretty cool.
It is going to be pretty cool, and especially from our perspective, we're pretty close to the town of Plankton, so it'll be awesome to see what goes on if they just totally shut down everything, or does the mayor of Plankton just mandatory day off for everybody, or how's this going to work?
I'd say I'd vote for a day off personally.
Well, imagine both the teams win, and then they play each other. Then you have to cancel.
Oh my, you have to then. If both teams play each other in the state tournament, you have to close down the town.
Well,
Exactly.
it'd be that Sunday night. The following Sunday is when they play. It'd
Right.
be the 5:30 game on Sunday, I think, is when that game would be, that 17 game, if they both win. So,
Yeah. On to the Thursday slate. We start AM. They'll feature the Mount Vernon Mustangs coming out of the Sunshine League against Redfield DQ coming out of the Northern Plains League. They were the runner-up of that league.
yeah, the Redfield Dairy Queen. I think they've shown what they had being in the tournament last year. The tough thing is, I think the Mustangs are going to come in being close to home, not having to go. I mean, a lot of them are hometown kids, being in Mitchell. So I feel like the Mustangs definitely have the advantage on this one. Redfield DQ is going to have to come out with some absolutely crazy hitting to keep up with the Mustangs in this one, in my opinion. The Mustangs take this one for me.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. Obviously, you almost get that home field advantage because if you think about it, they're almost the closest team to Cadwell Park.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the short drive compared to Redfield's drive is just going to be one of those deals where 11 a.m. game, they might shut down the town of Mount Vernon for all we know. But it's just like that home field advantage. And once Mount Vernon's bats get hot, it's going to be trouble for Redfield. So I think Mount Vernon's going to take this one as well.
I think the fans, too, from Mount Vernon are going to travel well to this one. That 11 o'clock game on Thursday is going to be a packed house, I believe, in Cadwell.
On a Thursday, yeah.
On a Thursday, yeah, absolutely. Let's scoot on to the next game, game number 4. Akron, Iowa, the Rebels come up, and they'll be taking on the Milbank Fire Chiefs, who are the Eastern Dakota League champions.
That's a 1 o'clock game. Akron coming from the State Line League, like you said. Milbank 11-3, from what we could tell. That might have been league stand. It was probably league record, but still being a champion of your league, I think you come in with that chip on your shoulder, and Milbank's probably going to carry that chip with them all the way through this game.
Yeah, Milbank's got some really, really impressive pitching. Obviously, having Dominic Berger, he's going to be a great pitcher for them. Milbank's definitely going to be a firepower team. It's kind of interesting, though. I think Milbank and Mount Vernon faced off last year, if I can recall, in the tournament. So, or it might have been. I think it was. I'm almost certain it was last year when they faced off. So that's going to be a game to look forward to if both of those teams get out of their respective first games. But in my opinion, Akron, a great team, but Milbank has the pitching that can just outplay most teams. So the defense is going to get Milbank a win here.
I agree with you. And that will conclude the morning session. We go to the afternoon, evening session. The 5:30 p.m. game features the Platte Killer Tomatoes. Great name, by the way. 13-6 in the Sunshine League against the Aurora Aces coming out of the Eastern Dakota League.
Yeah, I think this is one of your toss-up games here. I don't know much about the Aurora Aces. Most of my knowledge comes from the State Amateur Baseball Tournament, seeing teams year after year, and the Aurora Aces come in, and this is the first appearance that I can recall in a long time for the Aurora Aces. So being as the first time in a while, the Killer Tomatoes are rather close to Mitchell, being from Platte. So I think the Killer Tomatoes will travel well. So I'm going to have to take Platte in this one, just simply based off of what I've seen. And they're obviously in the Sunshine League. They play some really good teams. And so my choice is the Killer Tomatoes on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you there. This game, obviously Aurora coming in almost like a toss-up. We have to factor in, like you said, the Sunshine League difficulty that Platte has to deal with all year. And they're 13, which is pretty good. So like you said, I think Platte's going to have the edge in this one.
I agree.
So that'll take us to the 7:30 game featuring the Owls from Weston Springs from the Pony Hills League and the Alexandria Angels, the Sunshine League champions at 14-5.
I think this will be I mean, you know what? Anything can happen in August, but I feel like this is going to be a very, very high-scoring affair for one side particularly. I'm not putting anything against Weston Springs. Obviously, we've seen some wild things over the years in the state amateur baseball tournament, but both teams have to come out and play. I just feel like with the experience and the guys and the absolute just sheer really good baseball players that Alexandria has, I think they're going to run away with this one very easily.
Right. I think you just have to factor in the overall talent of Alexandria that they bring in every single year. And like we said, we were looking up the records for this since 2011. They're 205 or something like that. Alexandria was. So you can't ever discount them in the tournament. So I think Alexandria is going to win this game here.
Absolutely. And that brings us on to game number 7. Another blue blood Canova gang taking on the Tabor Bluebirds, who really is probably, besides your Alexandria matchup, not the greatest look for Canova in their first round, as Tabor has some pitching.
Right. This Tabor's one of those teams where you never quite think they're going to be in play, and they're pretty dang good. So it's a tough draw for both teams, really. Canova, just the perennial powerhouse, just like Alexandria. It's just going to be one of those games where whichever team's hot is going to win. Canova's going to win here just because, the perennial powerhouse that they are. And come August, obviously you never know what's going to happen, but Canova usually finds their about 5th gear in August.
Yes, they do. They'll find that 5th gear and run away with it in game number 7, in my opinion.
So that was the 11 a.m. game on Friday, and then coming up to the 1 o'clock game, we have the Lennox from the Corn Belt League taking on Whynot, Nebraska, the Expos from the South Central League. They're the South Central League champions at a record of, I believe, now if I'm wrong, don't quote me here, but this is directly from Game Changer, 11, 10, and 1.
Yes, that is what we got today. We had a laugh when that happened because I asked the question, how could that happen? And he said, well, the game got over in the middle of the 8th inning. And I was like, it could have gotten stormed out, rained out. And we threw that extra tie on the back of the record. So yes, 11, 10, and 1 for the Whynot Expos, who, like you said, won the South Central League. So Whynot's definitely a scary team in this tournament. And really, if they get into that game 20 at that next spot, is going to give Canova a run for their money, in my opinion. But my pick is Whynot here. Lennox only won. Definitely a sleeper team is that toss-up team. If you're looking to pick an upset, I feel like this one could be one of your big ones falling early because Lennox comes from that Corn Belt League. But in my opinion, Whynot has the advantage here, and the Expos run away with this one over the Alpacas in a close game. I'll mention.
I'll agree with you with that. Whynot, obviously a really good team, but Lennox from that Corn Belt League. If you want to pick a team that might ruin some brackets in the 605 Sports Bracket Challenge, Lennox only one is definitely one of those teams that they could upset a lot of people and push yourself towards the top of that bracket challenge if you really wanted them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a scary team right there. That's one of your UMBC upsets, in my opinion, right there. If you're a bracket guy.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll wrap up the if you're a big March Madness bracket guy, you remember that. That wraps up the morning session on Friday. The afternoon session starts at 5:30, featuring the Salem Cubs from the Corn Belt League and Four Corners from the Pony Hills League.
Okay, so you had the Cubs come in playing a pretty solid Corn Belt League this year. In my opinion, the strongest it's been in a little while, with the Canova gang having kind of a down season, if you will. But no matter the cause, Salem's going to come in pretty hot. In my opinion, Salem's going to take this game over Four Corners. Four Corners has kind of had an up and down year. I had a chance to watch Four Corners earlier this year. 3 weeks ago, I think, or 2.5 weeks ago is when I saw them play. And they have some bats. It's just, I think their pitching is going to struggle in the tournament. I feel like Four Corners is definitely a team who could take it over Salem. This is one of your toss-up games. But Salem's going to take this game, in my opinion, just because of the teams they play in the Corn Belt. And every night having to play a team like Canova or Flandreau or Del Rapids, or, you're going to have to play a team that is really solid every night. And Four Corners is in that Pony Hills League, who might see a really good team once every week.
Right, exactly. This is one of those games where it might be a little 50-50, but you have to factor in the leagues, like you said, a difficult Corn Belt League against, I shouldn't say a bad Pony Hills League, but a very top-heavy Pony Hills League.
Yes.
With the Plank Bankers and Kimball White Lake, as we'll get to them later. Then after that, it really drops down hard, and Four Corners, kind of a middle team in that Pony Hills League, probably puts them as like a bottom team in the Corn Belt. So I'm going to have to agree with you here and go with Salem.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll bring us to the 7:30 game, the night game on Friday. Should be a very good game here. The Dimmick Emory Raptors from the Sunshine League taking on Hartford Humboldt, the Corn Belt League champions.
Yeah, folks, if there was any game in the first round out of the 16 that you should come and watch, I feel like this is the one you got to see. I am certain this is going to be the most people at Cadwell, besides maybe semifinal Saturday. Um, this is going to be a fantastic ball game, and I was talking to the commissioners on Sunday, on Selection Sunday. I said, this is a game, guys. This is going to be a fantastic one, in my opinion. So this is one you're gonna have to look out for. The Raptors of Den McHenry, I would assume they're gonna pitch Phil Johnson at some point. Phil gets quite the workload throughout this tournament, as he does year in and year out. Talked to Peyton Nash on Sunday as well, and he said that yeah, Phil's gonna get some workload eventually. So yeah, I have to take Hartford Humboldt on this one though, because they just come out of a absolutely insanely good Corn Belt this year. They win the tournament, the champions of the Corn Belt. So I feel like Humboldt Hartford is my pick here.
Right. Like you said, if there's one game that you want to come to, and it's probably going to have the most people at, Friday at about 7:30. Circle it on your calendar. If you want to watch some really good baseball, get there. Because these are two really good teams going at it. Like you said, coming out of a very difficult Corn Belt League on Canova's down year, even though they had, 8 losses on the year?
Yeah.
Which is insane to think about. A down year is still 14-8. But out of that difficult league, the league champions, I mean, you almost have to go with Hartford Humboldt. However, this is going to be a very good and close game.
I agree. Get on to the 11th game of the tournament. We have the Del Rapids Mudcats, who come out of the Corn Belt League, playing the Northville Merchants out of the Northern Plains League.
Right. This is going to be one of those games where you just really don't know a whole lot on Saturday at 11 a.m. Everybody's still trying to recover from the Friday night game that was so good. But I think in this one, you just almost have to pick Del Rapids, like you said, because we've kind of gone through this with all the picks. A lot of it comes down to your league difficulty, and Del Rapids comes out of the Corn Belt League. So I have to go with Del Rapids here.
Yeah, I feel like Del Rapids is a team that's going to go pretty far in this tournament, and I don't feel like Northville, the Merchants, are going to be a bump in their road to possibly, in my opinion, going to be in that semifinal Saturday, are the Mudcats. So the Mudcats win this game pretty handily, in my opinion.
And the 1:00 game on Saturday features Vulga against Marchwood, Iowa. Vulga coming from the Eastern Dakota League, and Larchwood comes from the State Line League. I believe Larchwood was the league champions out of that State Line League, so they're going to be a pretty tough team to compete against.
Yeah, to win the State Line League, it's not an easy task, and the Diamonds of Larchwood took care of everyone down there. But they take on the Vulga Cormorants, who I feel like have the pitching to stay into this ball game, but I think the Diamonds of Larchwood will pull away with their hitting, and they obviously always come with really good defense. But I feel like Vulga is possibly an upset team here. This could be a scary matchup if Vulga hangs with them defensively. A low-scoring ball game, though, in my opinion.
I think so too, but Larchwood is just going to be one of those teams where every time you draw them in the first round, it seems like, oh no, these guys again, they're going to pitch really hit solid and beat you by 2 or 3 runs every game. That's just how they play it in the state tournament, usually in this first round. So I'm going to have to agree with you and go Larchwood. But watch out for Vulga. Like you said, if this is a team you want to pick to bust up some brackets in the bracket challenge, Vulga's another one of them.
I feel the same way. You talked about it a little earlier. Is Larchwood, Iowa is not a team that you want to draw in that first round. They could definitely do some damage in this tournament, as they've showed in years previous.
Then we get to the 5:30 game on Saturday. The Freeman Black Sox from the South Central on Lake Norton, the Lakers from the Eastern Dakota League.
Yeah, Lake Norton comes in with having a lot of history in this tournament. Taking on the Freeman Black Sox, I think Lake Norton's happy to draw the Freeman Black Sox in this one. It's going to be a really close game, in my opinion. High scoring as well, in my personal opinion. But I think Lake Norton will take this ball game just simply because of the history they have in the tournament. Being in the tournament is a whole different thing. Having experience and coming to Cadwell Park and it's just not any given day you come to Cadwell Park, and especially on the Saturday game at 5:30, there's going to be people there watching you no matter you like it or not. So it's going to be a packed house in Cadwell, and I think Lake Norton takes it on that Saturday night.
I have to agree with you there. Experience speaks a lot come to these tournaments, and Lake Norton is just one of those teams, a lot of deep experience in this tournament. So you're gonna almost have to go with Lake Norton here.
Yes, absolutely.
Then we get to the nightcap, the Winter Cologne Pheasants, the Sunshine League runner-up against the Redfield Pheasants, the Northern Plains League champion.
The Pheasants versus the Pheasants. It's been coined the cockfight. There's a hashtag actually that I have seen floating around. These two teams were actually slated to play each other earlier in the season, but it got canceled. I'm not sure why, but I didn't really look into it. But they were slated to play each other, and now it's happening. It's in fruition, and here it is, Game 14, Saturday night. It's going to be a packed house there at Cadwell. A blue blood right here, Winter Cologne, I think runs away with it very, very nicely and takes the win over the Redfield Pheasants in that 14th slot.
Yep, not to discredit Redfield at all, but Winter Cologne is just one of those teams, like you said, almost a perennial powerhouse that you really can't pick against in this first round here. Redfield obviously coming out of their league as a champion,
right?
But Winter Cologne in the tough Sunshine League, runner up to Alexandria. I think Winter Cologne wins this one as well.
I agree.
So now we get to the Sunday games. Sunday at 11 a.m. The Menno Mad Frogs from the South Central League takes on Flandreau from the Corn Belt League.
Yeah, the Flandreau Cardinals, your defending champions. They didn't handle things in the Corn Belt district champion or district tournament, if you will, the way they like to. But I have more than full confidence that the Cardinals of Flandreau will be your winners on this one. The Mad Frogs and Menno, coming out of that South Central League, is not as strong as it was in years previous. I think Flandreau runs away with this one by a few runs, quite a few runs actually, on that 11 a.m. slot on Sunday morning.
I have to agree with you there. Like we've said for a lot of picks previous, you just can't really bet against the Corn Belt League. And Flandreau didn't have a very good tournament. However, they're in the state tournament now, and coming out of that Corn Belt League, I think they're definitely a good favorite here in this game.
Yes, I agree. We'll get on to that 16th slot.
The 1 p.m. game 11th features the Castlewood Monarchs from the Eastern Dakota League against the Kimball White Lake Nationals, the Pony Hills League runner-up.
This slot was made for the 8th district that we had years ago, but the way it was drawn is the first team drawn, the first champion drawn, the runner-up goes into this slot down here. So that's how Kimball White Lake ended up here versus the Monarchs of the Eastern Dakota League in Castlewood. But Kimball White Lake is definitely a bracket-busting team this year, simply because of Zach Waldner and his pitching ability. I guarantee you he will be on the mound against the Castlewood Monarchs, and I think he takes care of the Monarchs, shuts the door on them very early. The Nationals get a few runs on the board right away and simply coast off of that.
I have to agree. Coming out of obviously, not a very good Pony Hills League, but a very good team coming out of that league, I think Kimball White Lake handles this one pretty good.
Absolutely. So that rounds out our first 16 games in the first round. Hopefully we're back to do the next 8. Because after that 16th game, we'll have that day, because it goes from 5:30 to 7:30, everything after that. So yeah, we'll hopefully get some more games and picks into you then. We'll see where our picks line up, and how everything falls. But until then, you can log on to 605sports.com and make your own picks, ladies and gentlemen. You can make your own picks right here. You can make an account. It's super simple, super easy, super fast. You can make all your picks and fill your bracket out. And that's how you take care of that from there. But tomorrow's the day, Cole.
Absolutely. It came up a lot faster than I thought it would. Like I said, you guys called me about 2 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, that's 2 weeks away, and it's tomorrow. So big slate of games headed up here, and it should be really fun. So with that ends our thoughts on this South Dakota Amateur Baseball State Tournament, previewing the first 16 games here. Like you said, we were filling out this bracket, or at least I was filling out this bracket as we speak. 605sports.com/brackets. Make your free account and your chance for $100. Whoever gets the most accurate bracket at the end.
Heck yeah, I think that about wraps it up, Cole. I appreciate you hopping on the Zoom with me today. Look forward to spending the next 12 days with you, and look forward to producing as much content for South Dakota amateur baseball fans as possible over the next 12 to 13 days. So I think that wraps everything up from here.
Absolutely. From Cole Larsch and Charlie Preen, thank you for watching this edition of the CharCole podcast, and we will see you in the next episode.